And welcome to today's video. In today's video, we'll be discussing the latest news going on in the Russian-Ukraine war. Let's first start off with the Kharkiv area, where we have some footage and other things. So we're going to go back to yesterday, so I can just show you guys a little bit of the footage. But as you can see, the Ukrainians were attacking in Russia and inside the Russian occupied areas of Kharkiv with drones. The Russians were also attacking and bombing the Ukrainians heavily throughout this area. Over here we see a destroyed Ukrainian self-propelled gun. On this video, it was tracked and destroyed. And over here we see another destroyed Ukrainian self-propelled gun. So the thing with what's happening here, a lot of people, I put on someone's video a comment, just commented my thoughts on what was going to happen in the situation in Kharkiv, and I got a lot of backlash. It was my private account, and I got a lot of backlash. People saying you're coping, the Ukrainians aren't going to win, the Russians are storming over. And now that we see Ukrainian counterattacks, this is the Ukrainians after they counterattack. The Russians tried to counterattack again, and they basically fought the Russians off. Video confirmation. This is the Ukrainian attack. Video confirmation of them being in this area. And this is this being under Ukrainian control according to Syriac maps. The thing is Ukraine is not, and this is not the end. This is not the end of the campaign in Kharkiv by any stretch of imagination. But Ukraine's not going to let Russia get too far in Kharkiv. That's just not going to work. Russia doesn't have enough men to push as far as they may. And when they first came in, people were, oh, they're taking all these villages, they're taking all these towns. That was a gray zone. No one's going to put their lines all the way up here so the Russians can just bomb them while they're trying to build it. So that was a gray zone that the Russians took, and now since they're out of the gray zone, you don't see as many advances. Not saying you won't see more. I'm just saying at this moment, the Ukrainians are counterattacking, the Russians are falling back. Moving to this area over here, we see Ukrainians destroying Russian vehicles over here. I'm going to skim past some of this video because some of it YouTube won't approve. But these are the vehicles. And later on it went to show dead soldiers, which I will not show on this YouTube channel. And over here we also see Ukrainian FPV drone strikes. So right now it's literally just a bombing throughout the whole entire area. Just Ukraine and Russia bombing each other. Over here we see the losses of the Russian vehicles in this city, which they managed to take after months of fighting, Bohorivka, and it was a lot of losses in manpower, a lot of losses in vehicles and equipment. Moving over here, we have a Ukrainian strike on Soledar, likely just artillery, and we have Ukrainian strike in Bakhmut, again, likely just artillery. It seems to be the same video, so I don't know if it's in Soledar, because this one, which is the same video, says it's in Soledar. This one says it's in Bakhmut. I guess we'll find out later. Anyway, this is a destroyed Russian T-90, something we don't see a lot. And when Western vehicle gets destroyed, the Russians like to brag about it, but the Russians have been losing T-90s for a long time now. Not a lot, but they have been losing them. So that's their version of the Western Abrams Leopards, T-14 Armadas. You really can't say exist like that. They're like prototypes at best. The Russians have recaptured Klashivka, something they took before they ended the Battle of Bakhmut, and then they lost during the Ukrainian 2023 summer offensive. Now they retook. So first battle, Klashivka and Andriivka, Russian victory. Second battle, Klashivka and Andriivka, Ukrainian victory. Third battle, Klashivka and Andriivka, Russian victory. Again, we see Ukrainian FPV drone strikes over here. Moving on to the Avdiivka area, we have an interesting video. We saw this a lot on the Ukrainian side during the counteroffensives, demoralized Russians just surrendering. But this is video footage of a Ukrainian that stole a Ukrainian tank and basically surrendered it to the Russians. Obviously, this is not going to be put on Western media because it's not the Russians surrendering a tank, but this is live video and obviously it's legit. Now over here we see a Russian vehicle get destroyed by a drone, and over here we see the video says the Bradley was destroyed. Now the Bradley was hit pretty hard, but at the end of the video the Bradley's still going. The Bradley's moving away. So the video saying it was destroyed, it might have been, but from what it seems it was damaged. Over here we see confirmation by video that the Russians have completely captured Umanske. So that's what has happened there. Over here we see a lot of drone strikes in Donetsk and all throughout the front lines, just drone strikes the Russians striking Ukrainian positions, the Ukrainians striking Russian positions, with Robotyne completely captured by the Russians, although I don't think it'll stay that way. Now moving on over here, we see in Kalasharahari a Ukrainian flag. Now this does not mean Ukrainian soldiers are here, this does not mean Ukrainians are present. I know a lot of pro-Ukrainian is all going to have this flag as the thumbnail of the video. I've seen some Russian and Ukrainian drones both do it, where they have a drone put a flag somewhere and then show it off on video. That does not mean soldiers are there. From what it looks like, it does not look like a drone did this, because usually when drones would do it, it would be much higher and it would be on like metal objects. I don't know if this object is metal. It looks like it could be, but it doesn't look like a drone did that, because it looks like the end of the flag was kind of attached there. Usually drones will use magnets on the flags to connect the flag to a place. So it doesn't look like that happened, but it could have happened. Now moving on to Crimea. Yesterday, we had strikes on Crimea again. We see over here explosions in Crimea. Right there, something obviously hit that was not in the sky. That was a explosion. People are saying this was a Ukrainian target. So it was basically a radar system, which was a Ukrainian target. Over here, we see missile strikes on Crimea. It's a short video, probably like 3 seconds. And over here, we see, going back to what happened today, we see that the Ukrainians have struck deep inside of Russia with a, let's see, I don't know what it was, probably a drone, 9 times 10. Let's see, let's translate this into English and see if, okay, destroyed. Okay, so it's not showing us, telling us what it was, but as you can see, stuff was destroyed from there. So it's a deep strike into Russia, 500 kilometers away from the front lines. Over here, we see an ATACMS strike. This is actually crazy, because we see an ATACMS strike, and we actually see, from what it looks like here, the Russian defense trying to actually take the ATACMS out before they were taken out by the ATACMS. I don't know if this video is going to load or not. Here it is. So as you can see, that's the things firing. And later we see a mass destruction of whatever was there. One vehicle did manage to make it out. It looks like those were cluster rounds for the ATACMS. See that vehicle over there. So it did damage the vehicle, but it wasn't head on to the vehicle. It was cluster rounds. Anyway, guys, that's about all what happened today. Make sure you guys like this video, comment your thoughts down below, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.